So something to talk about today is misinformation and disinformation. These terms sometimes get used interchangeably, but there is a little bit of a difference. So disinformation is providing information that has been deliberately falsified. So something kind of like along the lines of propaganda, it has been deliberately made false to try to get you to feel a certain type of way or to think a certain type of way. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information. It is communicated regardless of intention to deceive. So it might not necessarily be intended to deceive someone, but that information is there and could possibly lead to that. So how do we spot that kind of thing? Let's find out. The first thing we want to do is consider our source. So you want to kind of click away from the story and kind of evaluate, do an investigation of what you think its mission could be. The next thing we want to do is kind of read beyond. It ties into that. So, headlines can be clickbait and a little outrageous to kind of get you interested and make you want to engage. But you need to think about, what is the whole story here? Next thing we want to do is check our author, which is kind of tied into considering the source. So do a quick search on seeing if they're credible, if they really have the authority to speak on this topic, if they have some kind of professional background, if they have any kind of writings or publications on the source. Then supporting sources. So click the links, kind of determine the information given and where it has come from. So one thing you really want to do is check the date. You want to make sure you're not posting old news of things that have already happened and kind of bringing them back as if they are current. Something else to consider is this a joke? There are a lot of satirical sites out there, so make sure that you are not falling for one of those and considering an accurate news source. You really want to check your bias. Sometimes when you have an affiliation either direction, you will take a story that fits into that ideation and pass it off as credible. So sometimes you really need to check your bias, make sure you're not just agreeing with something only because it agrees with how you feel. And of course, always you can ask the experts. You can ask a librarian, you can do a fact-checking site, you can talk to someone who is politically involved and active, but those are the kind of things that will help you when you spot disinformation or misinformation to really dig into it and make sure that you're not falling for the falsified info.